After a fantastic 5-year stint with Southampton, where we took them from a newly promoted side battling for safety to Premier League and Champions League winners, I couldn't have asked for a better farewell to my time on the South Coast. And now seems like the perfect time to move on, riding the biggest high in the club's history and leaving the Saints fans with loads of great memories. After a poor season in Germany and with Vincent Kompany being sacked by the Bayern Munich board after a round 2 knockout in the DFB Pokal, a round of 16 defeat to Inter Milan in the Champions League and just one Bundesliga trophy in his 5-year spell with the club, the German Giants want a young manager with a proven record both domestically and in Europe, and after the fairy tale ending with Southampton, they have prized me away from England, tasking me to rebuild the ageing squad, and with almost half of the team on expiring contracts, they've asked for a large overhaul of the squad, decreasing the average age and building a German core at the Allianz Arena to take the German Giants back to the top of German and European football. Yes, hello guys, welcome back to our FC25 career mode. We're here in Germany with Bayern Munich, and as I said in the intro, they've really struggled throughout the course of this save, so I'm really excited to be here. We're going to have a hard reset over this summer transfer window. We've got a lot of moves to make to rebuild this ageing team. And Bayern Munich are a team that I don't generally get to use too much in career mode, mainly just because they're always on top. They're always a really strong side. But in this career mode, they've really sort of dropped off. They've still got, of course, a really good core of players and some real star quality as well. But throughout the course of the save, just one Bundesliga trophy. They have won at the Champions League once. I think it was 2 years ago they picked up the trophy. But they've really not done as well as, you think back over the last decade, the last 15 years, where Bayern Munich were just winning the Bundesliga every year. That it was a bit of a dynasty. And in this save, it's not really continued. So the Bayern Munich board have tasked me to take over Vincent Kompany, rebuild the team. We've got quite an unbalanced team as well. Loads of attacking quality. But in defence, we look a little bit short. And if you take a look at the league table from last year, you'll see that we conceded a lot of goals. Disappointing knockout in the early stages of the DFB Pokal. And they want me to turn this squad around, flip it on its head, make it younger, give them a German core, and take them back to the top of German football. And as we take a look at the squad here as well, you'll see in terms of rating and some of the players, we've got some real class here. But the main issue is that this squad is aging. And if we take a look at the contracts in a moment's time, you'll see how many of the team are out of contract at the end of this season. So there's going to be a big clear out. Practically everyone is available at this moment in time. Of course, this isn't my team or my squad that I've built. So although there are some players that I would like to keep, there are a lot of players here that are likely to be sold in this first summer transfer window. We're also very, very top heavy in terms of the squad. Look how many attacking players we've got, especially in that CAM position. It's just impossible to fit everybody in. So it's going to be a real task to build an actual squad like we had at Southampton. That's one of the things the Bayern Munich board have hired me for, to build a squad like I did on the South Coast and bring glory back to Bayern Munich. But if we take a look at the squad, it is quite a small team with just 33 players. And of those, you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 players. So almost half of the team with their contracts up at the end of the season. We've got a lot of players in their 30s as well, or approaching their 30s. So this squad is going to get a massive, massive overhaul for this upcoming season. It's going to be a real hard reset. And whilst the players that we bring in may not be as good as the current players we have in the squad, we're looking to build for the future as well, not just for the current period. So yeah, this is going to be a big transfer window, where, as you'll see, if we head to our transfer budget, the board this season, just 40 million, I say just as if it's not a huge amount of money, but 40 million in the year 2029 is really not the biggest transfer budget in the world. Of course, we don't have the Premier League money, so it's not really too much of a surprise. But any players that we do want to bring in, we're pretty much going to have to raise those funds ourselves. So let's just dive straight in. We're going to have to tie some players down to new contracts, and a lot of players are going to get transfer listed as well. And as I say, without a monster transfer budget, we are going to have to be wary of the wages that we're giving out, but we are going to hand out a few contracts to players that I definitely want to keep at the club. Alphonso Davies, one of the OGs, he's been here the whole time throughout the course of the save, now 28 in his prime. I definitely do not want to be losing him, so he is going to sign a new contract. And also Jamal Musiala, just 2 years left on his deal, 93 overall. There is absolutely no way I'm letting him walk as well. So going to try and tie both of those two down to new deals. So guys, you have already seen me run through the squad, but there are just a few players that I wanted to pick out. Of course, Alphonso Davies has just signed that new deal. He will not be going anywhere. Franz Kratzig is a Bayern Munich homegrown, trained at the club player. Of course, in our saves, we like to try and keep things realistic, and one of the rules we always implement is the Champions League squad registration rule of having 4 homegrown trained at the club players, which is 4 players who between the ages of 15 and 21 were in the club's youth academy. And Franz Kratzig, although he came through the academy at, I believe it was Nuremberg, he joined Bayern Munich in 2017 at the age of 14, but he was there for 5 years, I believe, and that would have been during the time he was 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19 as well, so he would be eligible as a homegrown trained at the club player. We've got quite a few central defenders, but again, there's a lot of movement there. I think Max Schultz might potentially be another homegrown trained at the club player, but I'm not sure if we're going to need him, as we do already have a few. Again, some good experience here. Danny Carvajal, Molina, Benacer, Rashford, but I'm not sure out of these guys who is going to go. I don't really have a plan at the moment. I'm just going to see what bids we get and see who potentially leaves. Of course, Musiala is our star man, but we've got the likes of Kraten Marker, Lovro Zvonarek, who's a really good young player. We've got the young Arsenal Academy graduate Ethan Nwaneri, Chan Uzun, Mastan Tuono, I think is how you pronounce it. We got so many good attacking midfielders. It's going to be really difficult to get them in the team. Michael Elise is, of course, still here, so he will be staying in his prime now at 27. I like Vidovic as well, another Croatian attacker, can play on the left, through the middle, or potentially as a number 10 as well. I really like the look of this guy, Javier Rojas, potentially a Joel Campbell pre-gen, reincarnated, I'm not too sure, but he looks pretty good. Can play on either flank at 21 years of age, coming from Costa Rica. I do like the look of him. Pedro Neto, again, big fan of his, being a Chelsea fan, so there's every chance he will stay, as he's not one of the players with his contract up. And then up top, Lautaro Martinez, not sure what's going to happen with him. I am a big fan in real life, but he's now 31 years of age. I'm not sure if he will be here or not. It seems a bit mad to say it, but if we need to bring in some funds, well, this man, as I say, in his 30s now, but we can probably get upward of 100 million, although he is in the final year of his contract, so maybe around the market valuation. But potentially we do cash in on Lautaro Martinez and Armando Sieb, another homegrown trained at the club player. So I believe we do already have 3 or 4, but I will be looking to, in this transfer window, bring in a few more. And we've also got this really good, I'm not sure if he's he's a regen, pre-gen, or just a youth player who's come through from Argentina, just 17 years of age, already 81 overall, and he looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, as we take a look at the objectives here as well, one thing that I really would like to do is get some youth or regen players in the squad. We've only really used Connor Cox, Elliot Cole, Lewis Turner throughout the course of the save as well. Look at those objectives from the board in Season 1. So I would like to bring in some regens and stuff. Of course, you get to a point in a save, we're now, what, 6 seasons in, where it's difficult to try and use those real players. So a lot of the transfers that I'm bringing in are going to be youth players and new gens. But I think that's what makes a certain save so good, is when you've got your own players that are solely in your save. No one else has those same players, and that is what makes it so exciting. So yeah, a lot of those young players that we're looking to bring in will be those regens, as the board it set us the huge objective of winning the treble in our first season. Well guys, this first episode in particular is going to be a little bit crazy with this big rebuild. As you can see, all of those player messages coming through. I'll go through those in a moment, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of transfers, so we're probably just going to solely focus on the transfer window in this first episode. Well, some big bids coming in already. Peretz has had his release clause met from Mainz for 14.7 million. So I'm happy to let him go as our backup keeper. Rojas is going to be staying here, but I am not against loaning out this youngster, Jules Lambert. Alphonso Davies has just signed a new contract, so as always, he is off the table for the time being. But as for Ismail Benacer, I'm not against selling him. He's a decent player, of course, but now into his 30s, and as I say, pretty much everyone is available, especially if they've got their deal up at the end of the season. So Pep, knowing that, doesn't really want to budge, but I still think we can maybe get a little bit more than what they're offering. Maybe not. Let's see if we can get 50. If not, then we might just have to bite the bullet and accept Pep Guardiola's bid. 50 million, Pep. Yep, there we go. And it looks like Ismail Benacer is heading to England. Another bid here, this time for Ruben van Bommel. Now, he is a decent attacker, but you know, I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here and go 32.5. We've got so many good attacking players. I'm honestly happy to let him go. As I say, everyone is up for grabs at the moment. Anyone can be sold, and especially if we're getting good deals from the players that we're selling, I am absolutely fine with that. I think that might be Peretz heading out the door. It is. Joining FSV Mainz, where he's likely to go and be number 1. So I don't mind that one bit. He is, again, F-free because it was a release clause, but his valuation's only 8.5 million. And with that in mind, we're going to need a backup goalkeeper. And I always quite like having an experienced number 2. So I'm looking at either Stefan Ortega or Marvin Schwab. I think because Ortega's 2 years older, I'm leaning more towards Marvin Schwab, the former, I think he was at Köln. I think he was a former Köln keeper. And yeah, he's probably not going to play much, only in the Cups, but he's only going to cost us around 1.5 million. I'm going to see if I can bring Marvin in as our number 2. So Marvin Schwab is in. Just a quick little signing to kick off the episode. 1.5 million for the veteran German, and he's probably not going to play a huge amount, but I quite like that as a backup for our number 1 goalkeeper. Another big bid here for one of our central midfielders. It already looks as if Ismail Benacer could be heading to England, and now Tijani Reinders as well. Arne Slot looking to pay a little bit less than our asking price, and again, he's one of those players who is in the final year of his contract, so yeah, we might have to accept a little bit less for him. I'm going to go 47.5, but I have a feeling Slot might say no, and yeah, he's walked away. So okay, for Reinders, we might have to accept a little bit less than that. And there's another deal going through, and it is Ismail Benacer heading to Manchester City. Pep Guardiola looking to rebuild after a poor season. Well, more big bids here. Siev is going to be staying for the time being, I think. Jules Lambert, we will negotiate that offer in a minute. Max Schultz wanted by Heidenheim. Again, I'll try and negotiate a slightly higher fee. Alberto Marquez, definitely not going anywhere. I really like the look of this lad. But for Molina, I think he's another player with his deal up at the end of the season into his 30s. Similarly to Ismail Benacer. Again, we can't really ask for too much more than that market valuation. And joining a domestic rival for what looks like a £35 million deal, Molina could be the next man out the door. And there's another deal going through. It's Ruben van Bommel heading to Lille for £32.5 million. We're really starting to up our budget now, but it's very easy to see that disappear. Oh no, I've missed him. No, I wanted to bring Connor Cox with me. And he's gone. He's gone to Juventus. He's got a big move away from Southampton. This is one thing I will say about career mode, is as soon as you leave a team, they just absolutely gut the squad. And Connor Cox, I was going to bring him with me to Germany, but he's gone. I've missed him. He's flown to Italy, signed the contract with Juventus, and now they've got Matthias Tell and Connor Cox. Oh man, that is a shame. I've missed him. Well, okay, I'll go for the next man that I was looking to bring in. This is a young German, Matteo Meyer, 6'1", so very physical, 85 jumping, 87 strength, and he is really, really physical. He's not exactly slow with the pretty decent sprint speed. Acceleration's a little bit low, but he's really, really good in the air as well. 82 heading accuracy, 78 defensive awareness, 82 stand and 85 slide tackle. I think he looks like a really good young defender. Currently playing out in France with Nice. Let's see if we can bring him in. And I think Meyer may be in the final year of his contract, so I'm going to go a little bit cheeky and offer 20 million. Well, they want Marcus Rashford, who I'm not against getting rid of, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to exchange him. I think I'd rather just sell him, if anything. So I'm going to go in at 20.5. I don't think we're going to have to pay too much more than that. They want a 5% sell-on clause. Absolutely fine with me. Yeah, Matteo Meyer is in for a really good bit of business. Just 20.5 million. 4-year contract for him as well. And he is showing great potential. We'll get him on that stopper development plan to boost his acceleration. But his defensive stats and his physical stats are absolutely brilliant. I think he's a great rotational defender to have in the squad. Well, there's another deal going through. That is a youngster, Jamie Calderon, heading to Augsburg on a 1-year loan deal. He looks pretty decent, this young lad. And yeah, good to hopefully get him some first team football in Germany as well, heading to Augsburg for the season. Oh, and Molina's gone as well, joining another rival of ours in the Bundesliga, Eintracht Frankfurt. 35 million for a player into his early 30s with his contract up at the end of the season. I will take that money and add it to the kitty all day long. Oh, and a threefer. We got a threefer. Max Schultz is also gone. I said he might potentially be homegrown, but I'm not too sure on it as I can't find his wiki page. But I think we're going to have enough, and I've got a few more players on the transfer list if I do need to bring one more in to bring us up to 4. So Max Schultz also departs. Wow, that is a huge bid for Lautaro Martinez, but to be honest, I don't want to sell him to a domestic rival. I'd love to get him back to Inter Milan or somewhere in Italy, but if I am going to sell Lautaro, it's definitely not going to be to Bayer Leverkusen. And with Molina departing, we've only got Danny Carvajal on the books at right back, so we will need to bring someone in. I've got a few regens here. Vicente Romero, the Argentine, his physical stats look superb. And Samuel Jung, the German-born French international, who also looks very, very good. Physically and pretty decent technically as well. So I may potentially bring one of these guys in the future, but for the time being I'm going to go for a former Bayern Munich man. He's moved on to RB Leipzig in the save, similar to the two regens. Brilliant physical stats, but his mentals are a little bit more advanced than the youngsters. And technically, he is a lot more advanced than those two as well. Really good defensive stats, and he offers some threat going forward as well with the high crossing, high dribbling, and good ball control and passing. So Sasha Boe will be heading back to Germany. Leipzig, one of our competitors, but I don't think there's a big rivalry there in terms of us doing business. Let's bring the Frenchman back to the Allianz. Again, going to be a little bit cheeky with my opening bid. I expect we'll have to pay more, but 28 million. They want Christian Mawisa, who I actually quite like the look of, so that is not going to happen. I will go back in at 30 million. What do you think, Leipzig? 32.5, that's not awful, you know. That is not an awful counter offer. Let's go 31 and hope that they'll sort of meet us in the middle, which they will. So Sasha looks as if he is returning to the Allianz. So Sasha Boe is in, and currently in his peak at 28. He's a really, really solid pickup on that right-hand side. Still getting slightly better as well. I do expect we'll see him grow to 84 this season and potentially 85 over the next couple of years. So really happy to have him back, and especially on quite a cut price deal. Another deal going through here. I think that is the young central defender Lambert off on a 2-year loan. He looks pretty decent, to be fair, at 21 years of age. And another deal going through. I'm not sure who that is. Oh, it's Yilmaz, a young attacking midfielder. Just a really small transfer fee of 850 grand just to get him off the books, really. Well, bid here for, I think it's pronounced Taichi Fukai, I'm not too sure, but not a player that I'm massively keen to keep hold of. He's pretty decent at 25 years of age, but again, I'm pretty happy to depart if he wants to leave. So that tension bar has hardly filled up. I reckon we can get close to 30 million here, and yes, we do. 29.5 as he looks as if he's heading to Real Sociedad. And an interesting bid here from West Ham, of course. We've just signed Marvin Schwab from them. They're looking to replace him with Alex Romero. We might not get any more than the 10 million they are offering, as he is out of contract at the end of this season. I'm just going to accept 10 million for the sake of 500 grand. I don't want that deal to go through. And yeah, Lopetegui can replace the German with the Spaniard. Ooh, well, I wasn't expecting this one. Ousmane Diomande has had his release clause met by Barcelona. 66.4 million. And he is our best central defender, but I'm kind of tempted to just say, fair enough, you've met the release clause. It's so easy in career mode to just negotiate a new contract, but when Barcelona come calling, I mean, fair play, man. If he wants to go and play for them, I'll take the money. 66.4, it's around 15 million over the market valuation. We could potentially get more if we negotiated a new contract and then sold him, but I don't like that due to how unrealistic it is. So for Diomande, I'm just going to say, look, if you want to go, fella, that's fine. We're going through a rebuild. I'll find someone to replace you. Well, before we get an answer on that big transfer news, Taichi Fukai has completed his move to Real Sociedad. Decent bit of money going into the kitty. We are very short on central midfielders now, though. I think we've only really got attacking midfielders and Tijani Reinders who can play through the heart of midfield. So we're definitely going to have to bring some bodies in there. Another big bid from Frankfurt here, and it's for the young Englishman Ethan Nwaneri. And although I am a big fan of his, he's only 22 years of age and 80 overall, but we got so many players in those attacking midfield roles. I'm not against letting him go if we can get a decent chunk of money for him. And we've already sold Molina to Frankfurt. Now they're coming in for one of our attacking players, and for 34.5 million, I don't think that's a terrible sale. A great young talent, but we've got so many attacking midfielders at the club. Well, two big bids for our Argentine attackers here. Man City want Alberto Marquez, but I'm saying to Pep Guardiola, no, this kid is a real talent. He's going to get game time here, and I'm not letting him depart. And also Crystal Palace putting in a bid for Lautaro Martinez. Again, I'm not against selling him, but it has to be a suitable club. And I don't think Crystal Palace is that team, man. I just don't see Lautaro going to play in front of the faithful at Selhurst Park. Even at 31 years of age, he's still one of the best in Europe. Well, there's a deal going through, and I think it is the big one to Barcelona. Ousmane Diomande, our best central defender, his release clause triggered by Barcelona, and I don't know why the negotiation gives you an F, because it is around sort of 20 million over that market valuation, which is why I let it go through. For realism's sake, I'm not going to keep players if they want to leave, so we are completely gutting this squad. And two bids coming in here for another of our Argentines, Franco Mastantuono, I think it's pronounced. I'm not 100% sure. Don't butcher me in the comments for my pronunciation. I don't have to sell him, but 35 million is a decent deal. Well, I said we need to fill out the squad in those central areas, and this man, not a regen, Merlin Ruhl, I think it's pronounced, of SC Freiburg. Really, really good player through the heart of midfield. He's probably more of an attacking player, but he can play slightly deeper, I feel, as a box-to-box or potentially a DLP. Really, really good physical stats. He's quick as well for someone who's 6'4". Good in the air, and I love the high stamina of 87. Technically, he's brilliant as well. High finishing, high passing, high ball control. And at Freiburg at the moment, I reckon we can get him for close to that market valuation, and he will be a brilliant squad player to have to potentially come off the bench and make a difference. Merlin Ruhl of Freiburg. Let's see if we can bring him to the Allianz. Yeah, great potential nickname for this guy as well, Merlin the Magician, and for 32 million, Freiburg just straight up say yes. Yeah, Merlin the Magician is in, and at 27 years of age, in his prime. I still think he's got some room to grow. He's great going forward. He's good defensively as well, so I think as a box-to-box in this team, he could be perfect. I really, really like that signing, and for under the market valuation, that is exactly the sort of deals that we are looking for during this rebuild. Another deal going through, and that is Ethan Nwaneri heading to Frankfurt. So another sale to a domestic rival, but 34.5 million is a good sale for the young Englishman. And he's going to get more game time there, so we can't really have any complaints with him looking to jump ship during the rebuild. Oh, again, a big bid for Lautaro Martinez. Tottenham coming in for him as they look to mount a push for the Premier League title once again. I don't think we're going to be able to get that much more for him as he is in the final year of his contract. So it might be the 109 million that they're offering. No. Wow, Postecoglou says 120 million. They really want their man. Well, another bid for Tijani Reinders here, and again, I'm not sure we're actually going to get more than 45 million. 44.9, let's go 45.5, and if not, then we will just accept. But no, 45.5, Antonio Conte bringing Reinders back to Italy. The former AC Milan player now looking to link up in Naples. And another deal going through. They're all going through. Alex Ramiro heading to West Ham. Again, not against that. He's a pretty good goalkeeper, but he's into his, mid to late 30s now? Was he 36, I think? So, yeah, pretty happy to let him go as I've got my number one target in mind to replace him, and I'm going to go after him now. This guy looks fantastic. Oh, and before we get there, we've also seen Franco leave. Goodbye, Franco. Not got time for you. Let's go and sign our keeper. Yeah, take a look at this guy's stats. I believe he must be the Manuel Neuer regen. 22 years of age, and look at those goalkeeping stats. He's 6'7" as well, and he's only going to continue getting better. He is the Manuel Neuer regen, and there's only one place for him to be, and that is Bayern Munich. He's going to cost an arm and a leg to bring him in, but he is going to be worth it. You need a good keeper to succeed. Again, just going to test the waters with a valuation bid, but I have a feeling, yet there you go, they are going to ask for a lot of money, and it's no real surprise. They know they have an absolute wonder kid on their hands over in France. Well, that's a little bit more like it. I wonder if we can meet in the middle at 75. I feel like that's actually not a terrible transfer fee. I thought we might have to pay over 100. Will Marseille play ball? No, not quite. Well, there's loads of time left in the window. I'm going to go back with 75, and if we have to renegotiate with them, then we will. But no, Marseille say yes. 75 million for Ronnie Schumacher, and he looks incredible. Yeah, Ronnie Schumacher is in by far our biggest signing of the rebuild. 75 million, which, to be fair, I don't think is actually a bad piece of business, because he looks fantastic. I love the aesthetic as well, the top knot. He looks like a real character, man. It's still getting better as well. He looks absolutely incredible. Ronnie Schumacher, welcome to the Allianz Arena. Buzzing to have this man in. And another deal going through. That is the big one. Lautaro Martinez heading to England to join up with Tottenham Hotspur. You're not going to win any trophies over there, bud. And the former Inter Milan captain, we get a C for it, but I think with him having just a year left on his deal, I'm surprised we got more than the 109 million that Spurs did offer. So I'm quite happy to get that money in the bank, and we will look to find a replacement for the Argentine. And Tijani Reinders has also gone. He's heading to Napoli. I really need to bring in some signings to bulk out the squad, because we're looking a little bit thin on the ground. We've got rid of so many players. Oh, and I didn't even see this one come through. Christian Mawisa has been approached by Manchester United. He must have a release clause. We let Ousmane Diomande leave. Do we let Mawisa do the same? 24 years of age, but he is only 5'11". He's a little bit lightweight at centre-back, although he has got 91 strength and 88 aggression. I mean, I don't know, man. The low agility, low balance. I'm not sure. He's pretty good on that left-hand side, but I don't know. Again, no one's off the table. He's got really 3 years left on his deal. We could maybe get a little bit more if we were to keep him. I'm not sure, man. I might let him go. Christian Mawisa, if he wants to go to Manchester United, they've struggled throughout the course of the save. I'm not against it, man. Nobody is off the table. And just going back to that offer as well, we've also had a bid for Marcus Rashford from RB Leipzig, but I'm going to turn that one down. Again, not against letting Rashford go, but joining a domestic rival, RB Leipzig, again, they will be battling at the top of the table with us. I'd quite like to get Rashford back to England if I am going to sell him. I could see him moving to Bayern Munich, so I quite like the fact that he's here. But now at 31 years of age, he is also starting to show signs of decline. So again, not against letting him go. Well, guys, look at this lad that I have just found. James Mensah, currently playing for Monaco in France. Ghanaian international, just 17 years of age. But as a holding midfielder, oh my goodness, look at those physical stats. Mentals are pretty good as well, and technically very, very solid with the high defensive awareness, high stand, high slide tackle. But those physical stats, man, at 17 years of age, 6'5" as well. I said we need to bring some players in to bulk out the squad. I want this lad. He looks fantastic, and he's just a teenager as well. My goodness. Going to try and get him close to that market valuation as well. They want Pedro Neto, but I'd actually quite like to keep Pedro at the club. So going to go 25.5. We'll go market valuation just to see where we stand. And wow, Monaco happy to depart. This 17-year-old, not quite the next Kylian Mbappe, a slightly different mould, but coming through at Monaco, he looks absolutely insane. Yeah, no surprise that this guy has the potential to be special tag. He is insane at just 17 years of age. We said Bayern Munich needed a rebuild. That's exactly what we're giving them, and bringing in young talent like this and getting rid of the aging players who were on expiring contracts. Yeah, this is going to go down well in Germany. James Mensah looks like a quality signing that I'm sure the Bayern Munich fans would be absolutely buzzing with. And I think that might be the Moisa deal going through. I quite like the look of this guy, and I was quite looking forward to using him, but again, release clause has been met. When that happens in real life, normally the deal will go through. So yeah, I'm not against that one, letting Christian go, and we will look to replace him on the left-hand side of our defence. We've got around 300 million to spend, so yeah, this summer spending is by no means finished yet, guys. And with Christian departing to Manchester United, I feel like we need a big name in our defence, and I have used this guy before, but it was a couple of years ago back on FIFA 23 during our Glory Hunter save. Probably not many viewers of the channel around then, so I'm going to go after Gonzalo Inacio once again. One of the best central defenders in this year's game, and at 27 in his prime, still at PSG in the save where he's been for pretty much the whole of the career. But with this guy's passing as well, he is the just perfect ball playing defender, and on that left hand side of our defense, he's the man that I really want. Another real key kind of star signing. Yes, we got Ronnie Schumacher, but I feel like this guy would be the marquee signing of the summer. And you know what? I feel like that market valuation for a defender of his quality is actually quite low. I'm going to go in at 70, which is kind of the bottom line that the chief exec reckons we can get him for. And it's no real surprise to me that PSG want a lot more money than that, because this guy is fantastic. I'm going to go 72.5 because normally they will come down quite a big lump. Yes, 76.3. Well, we'll just meet sort of in the middle then. 75 million. Same fee we paid for Ronnie Schumacher, the goalkeeper. And PSG say yes. Gonzalo Inacio is going to be our marquee signing this summer during the rebuild. Yeah, as I've already said, Ronnie Schumacher and Inacio both signed for the same fee, but I feel like Gonzalo is the real marquee kind of big signing of the window. Yes, a goalkeeper is important, but we needed a real solid centre-back for that back four, and the starting 11 is really starting to piece itself together now. Gonzalo Inacio, big fee, but signing a 5-year deal, and is one of the best central defenders in the world, especially with his ability on the ball as well. He is going to be perfect for this Bayern Munich system. Well, guys, it's been a crazy opener to the new season with just transfers all over the place. We've still got mega bucks to spend, but I think I'm going to end the episode with a double signing in the two areas of the pitch where I've mentioned I feel we're at our weakest. So that is in central midfield and centre-back. And I'm going to go for this man, Diego Hernandez. Again, I love the aesthetic of this man. Can play as a box-to-box midfielder or as a CDM a little bit deeper. Again, look at the stats, man. Brilliant physicals. Pretty good mentally as well. And technically, this guy is brilliant. He sort of reminds me of Xavi, as in the Barcelona and Spain legend Xavi. Brilliant stats, 5'7", and I just really like the look of him. Think he'll be a great squad player for us. So currently out in France at Brest, I think we can get him for around 30 million. Let's see if we can bring Diego Hernandez to the club. Going to go in with an initial bid of 27.5, and again, wanting Pedro Neto. He is highly sought after. We'll go a little bit higher at 28.5 and see if they will play ball. 30 million. Okay, let's flatten that out to just a flat fee of 30, and I think that will be accepted, which it is. And Hernandez looks as if he's the next man on his way to Germany. So Diego Hernandez is our first signing to close out the episode. Really solid sort of box-to-box DLP sort of midfielder. He can defend as well. He's got some pretty decent stats for that as well. Physically very solid, and at just 22 years of age, I'm sure he will continue to develop. Pretty decent price of just 30 million for the Spaniard, and yeah, as I say, love the aesthetic of this man. Reminds me a little bit of a young Xavi Hernandez. Hernandez. So yeah, really happy to have him in. And let's go straight away and pick up our second signing. We'll close out the episode with this one. We've already signed quite a few defenders, but where is he? Aaron Newman. A left footer, 6'2", currently playing out in Bilbao. Really good physical stats again, high strength, he's quick, and he's really good in the air. Good defender as well, and for realism's sake, playing out in Bilbao, where of course they only have Basque players, let's bring him back to Germany and do the game a favour, making it a little bit more realistic. Aaron Newman, let's bring him in as our final signing of the episode. Yeah, I reckon we can get him for pretty close to that market valuation as well. Let's go in at 17.5, and they want Lovro Zvonarek, which no, I quite like him. Again, we'll go the same bid, 17.5. See what they say, and yep, Athletic Bilbao say yes, and the German looks as if he's heading back to Germany. Alright then guys, this is how the squad is currently looking. I should say as well, I've given the captain's armband to Jamal Musiala, as I think, you know, who else would it be during the rebuild? The one man who's been here the whole time. But the starting lineup's looking really solid with the new signings that we have made. I'd say maybe a new centre-back and maybe a new central midfielder once again, if we are to continue improving. As the players we brought in, Newman, Hernandez, they're more sort of squad players, but I'd say the overall squad is looking pretty decent as well. We've got quality on the bench with Chan Uzun, we've got Rojas, Neto, Rashford, Sieb as well, and a couple of decent players in the resis who can do a job as well. But still probably another 3, 4, maybe even 5 signings to come in the next episode, where we will close out the summer transfer window, our first here in Germany. We'll have the German Super Cup against Borussia Dortmund and our first game of the season before closing out transfer deadline day. So guys, this has been such a fun episode to record with the major changes that we have made. I hope you guys have enjoyed as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll catch you for the next episode very soon. Take care guys, and peace.